K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877 Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's our last chance to donate for 2025.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with AutoPay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game.
Vicks Vapor Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapor Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-941-2255. That's 800-941-2255.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ-FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. It's time for the kickoff show.
What a win for the 49ers!
It's Sunday, and we're locked in on the red and gold.
What a run by George Kittle!
Well, fresh off of the bye week, we are rejuvenated, and we will rejoice here at Laughing Monk Brewing in Sunnyvale. Evan Giddings, Lorenzo Neal, live before the Niners take on the Tennessee Titans. Sort of a refreshed feeling, Lo, because the Niners, it kind of feels like they've gotten through a slog of a season, right? And now we're on the home stretch. We're in mid-December. This is where the cold, the weather, it begins to turn. Kyle Shanahan's record begins to improve. And the Niners, a team at 9-4, legitimately look like they got some action in the NFC.
It's so crazy because this is usually when they say in November and December, greatness is born and created. November, December is where you got to get that mutter on, those mutters, and you got to be able to run the ball. That's those months is when, hey, look, the physicality of football starts to come to the top, and you start to see the cream starts to rise, and the rest starts to fade off and dissipate. But you're watching this Niners team, the way they've been, it's been like a gauntlet all year long. Injury after injury riddled this team. You get a backup quarterback. It kept you in suspense, even though when you go back now and you look back and say, wow, they did a good job winning these games. The unknown was what could Daniel Jones, what could Jones do for you? What was Mac Jones going to do in the intermediate? I know Daniels broke his leg and Philip Rivers, that's a whole nother story. But watching Mac Jones come to the forefront, Kittle going out, all the weapons being depleted, and watching this team just play survivor week in and week out, and now everything's back. Everyone's healthy. Majority of the team's healthy. You still got some big injuries out. Of course, the two, Fred Warner, and Bosa. but now your team just seems like it's starting to find its stride. The defense was riddled with injuries, a young team, faceless guys you didn't know, but now look at this defense. Saleh has revamped the defense. The young guys are playing like veteran guys. They're starting to find their stride in December and November.
And that's when you want to be playing your best football. I mean, look, it's the holiday season. Everyone's inside. It's beginning to get a little cold. Maybe you got some hot chocolate. Maybe you got a little eggnog. Maybe a little something else in it. Anything you can find to kind of keep you feeling good. And that's what I think the Niners have really done for the majority of the season. They've kept their fan base, everyone that's here at Laughing Monk enjoying the games now, the game at 1 o'clock against the Titans. They've kept people feeling like they're in it. And despite the injuries, like you mentioned, the backup quarterback, Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh have done an excellent job sort of, traversing these high tides that the Niners have had to deal with. And now we're to the point where you're in the home stretch. You got 4 games left beginning today. 3 of them are at home. And it feels like, we talked about it before the bye week, if they had got that Cleveland game, if they had got that Carolina game, you're in a prime position to set yourself up to make the playoffs in a year where you come off of 6 wins. You pay your quarterback, but you're not sure about him. You have injuries throughout the season. I think if you told me after everything that's happened the last 12 months of the Niners that they'd be sitting here, you and I are talking on December 14th before the Niners have a chance to go 10-4, that's pretty crazy.
I would have took it. Absolutely. You and I both would have said, sign me up.
Yeah.
I'll take that. If you tell me this Niner team's going to be doing it to be 10-4, I'm taking every day, Monday through Sunday. I mean, this is unbelievable what they're at, and I think that's what is so alarming and so shocking that you look now and you say, with 4 games on the schedule, this game today, you know you're playing a team that's in a rebuild mode, the Titans, but you know you got Seattle, they're tough. You know the teams that you got, it's going to be tough. But look what you've been able to accomplish by putting these wins and stacking them in the basket, putting them out there, finding a way to win these football games. This Niner team's in pretty good place.
No, absolutely. And they're still dealing with a couple of injuries. We'll have the report for you coming up later on when things are officially set. But, you got your mainstays. The offense is beginning to find its stride. Brock Purdy had an up against Arizona, had a down against Carolina. Prior to the bye week, I thought he looked pretty good against the Cleveland Browns. And that sort of quarterback in that weather, mind you, a weather that has given him some trouble in the past, the rain, the sleet, the snow, the cold. He looked like a solid guy that was going to take care of the football, and that to me, Lo, we talk about the 3 phases in the complementary football that the San Francisco 49ers played. Prior to the bye week, that might have been their most complete performance against the Cleveland Browns because they're a team, I feel like the Niners are, that this entire season they have not beaten themselves. And they've allowed other teams to make the mistakes, and then they'll capitalize on them. But that's what has me feeling like this Niners team might actually be undersold a little bit, might be underrated or undervalued, is because they're not necessarily flashy in any sort of area, but they're so solid in all 3 phases, including special teams, which is a huge one.
Yeah, but you got to realize, you're absolutely right. Special teams is huge. Boyer, played with his brother Darren Boyer at Fresno State, played against Boyer. He was a great special teams player for the Jacksonville Jaguars back in the day and yesterday here. But you got to realize, it's like, okay, look, you have played and you found a way. This team, like you talked about, special teams, offense, defense, all 3 phases, they're starting to play. You watch them play, they're playing good collective football, complementary football. That's what you wanted to see this team do. And yes, let's be honest, Cleveland's a dumpster fire. Now we see they probably should have been starting Shedeur probably the whole year.
Yeah.
Guy hasn't had any reps with the first team. Couldn't go through preseason with the first team. Wouldn't let him even in practice go with the first team. So when you look at that organization, the Niners took care of business. They should have went into Cleveland and win that game. You didn't want that to be a trap game where this team fell asleep. They went in, they took care of business. They had the Cleveland Browns. They went out to Cleveland. They took care of them, beat them from start to finish. That's what you're supposed to do. You got to show your dominance. And this team right now, they're cooking defensively, offensively, and special teams. I want to see today, can these guys continue where they're at? Because you look at the state of the National Football League right now, you look at the NFC, and we'll get in those games. But you think about where Seattle is. Seattle and the Rams, to me, right now, these are two teams that you and I have been kind of agree that they may be the two best teams, not just in the NFC, but maybe in the NFL.
Absolutely. I also want to remind people, if you're heading by the stadium, stop by Laughing Monk Brewing, not just to grab a pop and grab some great food and enjoy some of the 10 a.m. games that are going on right now, but if you stop by and you don't have a ticket to the game, our guys Jesse and Danae outside are going to be setting up a raffle ticket draw. That's right, 2 tickets for you to go see the game today at Levi's Stadium. We're going to be doing that raffle live at 12 o'clock, so stick around, pull up. It'll be during the commercial break, so if you don't have a ticket but you're heading down this way, stop by Laughing Monk Brewing, say what's up, grab a raffle ticket, and you could have a chance to win a pair of tickets to go to the game later on today. As far as the NFC picture and sort of the larger view for the Niners, that was one thing that during the bye week I would say kind of dug into more as far as assessing where the Niners are. You know, it's tough because their division has, like you mentioned, maybe the 2 best teams in the NFL, certainly 2 of the best teams in the NFC. But that shouldn't prevent, I think, people from looking at what the Niners have done and feeling good, and if not great about it, because the one thing that the one thing about the Niners that has stood out to me, I think, the most as far as looking at their schedule, some of their games, some of their wins, yes, they've played the weakest schedule in the NFL.
Right,
we knew that coming in. One of the weakest schedules in recent memory. But they haven't stubbed their toe. They haven't lost to a team that they were supposed to beat.
Right.
It was the Rams a couple weeks ago against the Panthers that stubbed their toe in Carolina. You know, they're like a team like the Packers has stubbed their toe. You look on Thursday night, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the division sitting in front of them, stubbed their toe against an eliminated Falcons team. The Niners have not done that, and to me, even though, yes, they've beaten Cleveland today, obviously they have a good chance to win against a Titans group that has 2 wins, it shouldn't be discounted because there's other teams that are good, if not better than the Niners, that have lost to teams worse than them.
Yeah, no question, man. And when you think about just what you're talking about, teams that played worse, teams that played great, there's another team that we look at and you say, oh, my God, how did this team get to where they're at? They had another weak schedule, but they met expectations. They've outplayed. They played the teams that's in front of them, and that's now the New England Patriots. You look at New England Patriots, who they have, who they're playing, and what their schedule was. They outplayed. They're beating the teams. They don't have a great schedule, but they're beating the teams. Look what they're doing to Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think that this Niner team, like you just alluded to, what they've done, they haven't stubbed their toe. They've outkicked their coverage. They've played better than what anyone's given them credit for. They've won big games that people looked at the schedule. They were double-digit dogs against the Rams. They were able to go down to L.A., find a way to win that game. This team has played well. Yes, there's a game, Jacksonville, when Jacksonville wasn't playing well. Now look at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's playing good football. But when you think about that and what they were able to do and how they've been able to keep it together, you do got to tip your hat to Kyle Shanahan and what he's been able to do.
Yeah, I mean, and that's true. The Jacksonville game, you could consider it, stubbing your toe, but really just because of your quarterback play, who shouldn't have been out there. I think that, the Niners are a team right now that you're thinking about, all right, so the division's going to be tough. They do have a path. If they win, I would say 3 of their next 4, right? So they get Tennessee today. They go on to play next week. It'll be Indianapolis. They're going to be playing Phillip Rivers, probably, which is pretty crazy. And then you come home against Chicago and Seattle. There is a path for them to go 3-1 and somehow get to 12 wins, which would put them, I think, in a position to challenge because you did your homework early in the season.
Right.
You have those conference wins. You have those division wins. And if the Niners are a team that could somehow sneak into that upper echelon and not be a wild card, you're going to need some help, no doubt about it. But then you start to think about, all right, well, this season that we didn't feel like was going to be anything, then this suddenly becomes kind of a path to, all right, maybe they could make some noise. I just think that the Niners are a team that we have expected all season long to succumb to the injuries some of the things that have befallen them, but they haven't let it.
Yeah, I was waiting for them to fall off. You're like, okay. And we're like, man, how long
this is going to be the week?
Yes, and you and I remember we said, if we talked about it before Fred got hurt, we said, if something happens to Fred, man, how long can this defense play? And look at what they've been doing. The people are cheering for him. The fans are great. I know that place is going to be rocking today. The cheers, I love watching the cheerleaders. Actually, believe it or not, I got 2 buddies that came from Fresno down there in the Central Valley Mike Muhammad, he was a cheerleader at Fresno State. This guy was this one right here. This was the cheerleader at Fresno State. He was holding him up, turning around, and Big Noe. I mean, this is my workout partner. This is why you always say, "Lo, how you getting on, Jack? How big
You're the one keeping him in shape, huh?
Yeah, we've been going hard.
All right.
Hey.
I love that. I love that.
But no, man, they just continue to play great football, and I know the fans today, that place is going to be rocking because what they've done, they have earned the right. Who would have thought that the Niners could be playing to this game every week for the host games and not just be on the road? This team, that's where they're at, and I didn't think that this could happen. I really did not believe that the Niners would be sitting at this spot this year with their schedule.
Well, and that's the thing that's a little crazy because in one breath, you have the schedule that's helped you, but in another breath, it does feel like the Niners are kind of an underdog this year because people continue to discount them because of the backup quarterback, maybe even the play of the starting quarterback. You have the injuries. You got a bunch of guys that we're beginning to learn about that are making names for themselves, which you got to give them credit for. What Saleh's done with this defense without much of a pass rush, without forcing turnovers, they've just been so solid all year. They're going through different kick. They have had 3 kickers this season. They've been able to survive this entire year, and to me, that's why out of the bye week, it's like I almost feel as if, and listening to someone like George Kittle this week, this is now a Niners team that does believe that they can make some noise in a very good NFC, but they've earned the right to believe that because they put themselves in a position to challenge not just for the division, but potentially even a path if they win out to the 1 seed, which is just crazy to think about.
If they win out, do they need any help?
They would need the Rams to drop a game and Seattle to drop a game. But
you beat Seattle head-to-head. This could be –
it would come down to Week 18 against Seattle.
So if the Rams won out and Seattle won out except lost to the Niners could possibly be the number 2 seed.
I mean, that's the thing is – just
win out.
Well, they would end up, I think they'd be the 5 because of the division leaders. But they right now have a path to the 1 seed. And yes, you're going to need other teams to lose a couple games, but the Rams have one tough game coming up. Seattle has obviously that Week 18 game in San Francisco. The fact that it's even a possibility to me is just kind of crazy at this point.
It really is. That you're sitting here, we're talking about in Week 14, we're like, oh, the Niners got a path to be
no
the number 1
Bosa,
seed.
no Warner, but they can be the 1 seed.
And it's not going to take a lot of help. That's what's unbelievable. How many times that you're sitting here saying, man, you hope this happens, this got to happen. You could be in Kansas City's shoes where you're like, this team, we got to win out, you got to lose this. This team needs to lose. This has got to happen. There's so many scenarios that has to take place, but all the Niners got to do is just win. If they just keep their eyes on the prize, because the Rams got a tough win tonight, tough win tonight. Detroit Lions, bro, they're playing some good ball. Don't Detroit and Rams. And that's a game that Detroit can win tonight. And now you're the Niners. You're going to be pulling for Detroit. You figure this thing out, and then you win out. Hell, number 1 seed? That's crazy,
It would be crazy. And it also, you have to look at these teams as independent from one another. Do I think the Niners are as good as the Rams? No. Do I think they're as good as the Seahawks? No. But that doesn't mean they can't finish ahead of them.
Right.
That doesn't mean that they can't win the division because that's where the Niners, to me, have been overlooked this season is they've simply taken care of business every single week. There hasn't been a trap game for them.
No.
And even a game like today, I think most teams look at it and say, well, you're going to overlook the Titans, there's this, there's that. I have a feeling that the Niners aren't overlooking this team. Number one, because Kyle Shanahan has a great record after bye weeks, and his teams generally get better throughout seasons. But also because they haven't overlooked a single team all year. That's to me what the injuries have forced them to do is take every single opponent 1 week at a time, because if they haven't, then they might look like the team that we expected them to without these guys.
Right, and that's what today's about. It's about sounding the alarm, not a trap game. This is going to be a clear game that's probably the highest you've been favored all year.
Yep.
And you have to now go out and meet expectations. But you have to go out and say, look, let's go play Niners football. We've seen a team that you and I are very fond of as the Chargers. We've seen those guys go on the road and play the Titans and barely escape with their lives.
Yeah.
We've seen them, go play the Giants and get beat by the Giants. So you've seen some teams that played some lesser opponents and just get smacked around. So we get to see this Niner team go out there collectively and say, look, let's not leave any doubt. Right now we're in a great position. Let's not make it any difficult. Let's go win the games that we're supposed to win. And this, by golly, is a game that we need to win.
Well, and look at even a team that is in the same division as the Chargers but looks like they got action to contend for a Super Bowl, the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are 11-2. They have not lost since September. But they're a team that has almost been beaten by the Raiders, the Commanders, the Giants, the Chiefs.
Right.
This is a team that no one would say is not a good football team, but they've been sneaking by the skin of their teeth. The Niners have had a couple of close wins, a couple of close losses, but it's not like they've been playing the single-digit elimination game. They've not been, in my opinion, on the fortunate side of every single game. They've had some bad luck go their way. They've made the most out of mistakes from their opponents, but even the teams at the top, to me, like as much as I want to say, all right, well, there's some holes in the Niners' resume. Yes, they've played easy teams. I'm also looking around at some of the teams at the top of their respective divisions and saying, well, you know what, there's holes in that team too. There's some flaws in their resume right now, and that's why I give the Niners the benefit of the doubt, because if I'm going to give it to a team like Denver, who is a damn good football team, I also got to look at them and say, well, you did barely beat a couple of really bad teams, some of which in primetime games. The Niners, meanwhile, have taken their bad teams and just simply pushed them down the road.
Yeah, and the team, like you're saying with Denver, I know everyone talks about Denver's quarterback. Is he elite? Is he not elite? What have you? I wouldn't take him over Purdy. I probably wouldn't take him over Mac Jones either. I mean, I know Peyton loves him, and I know Denver's defense. They got some great defensive players. They've been able to run the ball, but now you see them struggling now because their running back went down. So a lot more pressure is going to be on Bo Nix. So like you said, here's a team at the top of the AFC, right now number 1 or number 2 seed, and if you watch the way that they're playing and getting by, they don't scare you. They don't put fear in you. So you look at the Niners, the way that they've been playing, way more consistent, in my opinion, way more consistent than what Denver has been played. And I know exactly what you're talking about. The way Denver has squeaked through wins, last second, find a way, down by 21, one of the biggest comebacks ever. All the different ways that they won games, they could easily have lost 5-6 games the way that they played. But unfortunately, they have found a way to win, so kudos to them. But now the Niners they have to continue to win the way that they win football games, and that's playing complementary football, good special teams, defense, bend but don't break, play field position, and don't turn the ball over. And that was great to see Purdy come back, and say, look, I'm not going to put my team in harm's way. I can't turn the ball over, because if I don't turn the ball over and play complementary football, punt the ball, let our defense have a chance, we can be in football games, and they've shown that.
Well, and against a team like Cleveland, obviously different than the Titans. The Titans have a better offense, but Cleveland's got a better defense. These are teams that will beat themselves. I mean, there's a reason why Cleveland is right now looking at a 3-10 record, why the Tennessee Titans are 2-11, because while they do have professional players and they're paid to play the game,
right,
they have shown more times than not that they'll make the mistake that's going to cost them. The Niners, meanwhile, have not. And that's where, to me, they've looked so buttoned up this year in a way that I didn't really expect, because it's almost like because of the amount of guys who have gone down and some of the names who were emerging for this team, you forget that Brock Purdy's been to a Super Bowl. George Kittle has been to multiple Super Bowls. Kyle Shanahan, this is his 8th season. Robert Saleh has been around the block a bunch of times. They got Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey. They have a lot of players that have been in the trenches of big games that know what it takes over the course of a 6-month marathon to put themselves in a position to make the postseason. So the fact that the Niners have rebounded in this way, to me, you got to give them respect. And that's why even thinking about some of the teams ahead, it's like, well, are they better on paper? Probably not, but they do have some guys that have been in these sort of battles before that, again, know what it takes to walk away with a victory, and that, to me, is where they have a leg up on a lot of their opponents.
Yeah, let's face it. There's a couple teams out there in the NFC that doesn't scare you. One that comes to mind, Chicago Bears, that just say, hey, look, have they shown you that they look great at times? At times, they look like they could win the Super Bowl, but I like my chances. The Niners got to go travel to Philly. Hey, I think you can beat Philly. I think if you think about who's on the different teams around the NFC, besides Seattle and the Rams in the NFC, who scares you? I'm asking you. You know, you look at the Commanders, what they're doing to the Giants. I mean, if you just look at the NFC, Tampa Bay doesn't scare you. There's two teams.
Carolina certainly doesn't scare you.
It's the Rams and Seattle, two teams in your conference that you say, we can play anybody, and we can probably beat anybody. Those two teams give us the most problem.
The team that I'm curious about was actually the team we thought was going to be representing the NFC at the beginning of the season with the trade they made for Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Green Bay is a team that I cannot quite put my finger on because I think they're good.
I do too, but
they've got some games where I'm like, what is going on here?
Cleveland, I got Cleveland on the line. How did you lose to
Carolina
Cleveland?
at home?
It's Josh Jacobs. Is he going to be healthy?
Yeah.
He hasn't been the guy that we accustomed to seeing. The offense have sputtered. The defense has done some amazing things. Just haven't. I don't know if I've seen enough from their offense to say this team is going to get. They're going to get there.
It's one of those teams that I think their quarterback sort of symbolizes what's going on, which is he's got all the talent in the world.
Yes.
And he plays some games that make you just scratch your head. And that's kind of the Packers, right? They have all the talent. They have all the pieces. They have a quality defense with 3 levels. They got playmakers. Offensively, they have a good run game, solid offensive line. You have a quarterback with multiple wide receivers. You got a veteran head coach. What's the problem? But every single week, it's like, well, are they going to be Jekyll or they're going to be Hyde? Some weeks I feel like they could win a Super Bowl. Other weeks I feel like they're going to get knocked out first round of the playoffs. The Niners, meanwhile, are a team that I don't think you can even look that far ahead with them because it's just based on the matchup. I think the Niners are a team that, to your point, if they play Chicago, absolutely they could beat the Bears.
Exactly.
If they play Philly, I think they could go into Philadelphia and potentially win that football game the way the Eagles have been imploding. There's just, to me, that's a matchup-based sport. The one team I think that I would be a little afraid of if they happen to somehow win their division would be Detroit.
Yes.
Because Detroit, when they're in Detroit inside that dome, they are a dangerous squad.
Detroit can light it up. And that's why I think Detroit might beat the Rams today. But if they get inside that dome, Detroit can absolutely light it up. I think Detroit, they could have more wins. Sometimes their coach is a little, I'm not going to say reckless, but the way that he plays, the gambles on fourth down, sometimes he just puts his teams behind it, and he's doing it 1, 2, 3 times. And you look at it, at the end of the game, you said, my goodness, they just got rid of 9 points because all these were chip shot field goals, and they lose by 6.
Yeah.
You're like, if you would have kicked that, he takes the points, and you end up with winning these football games. So I do concur with you that Detroit, if they get in, could be tough. But the rest, it's just, like I said, the Rams, and like you said, Philadelphia right now, they hope they get in. Don't even know if they're going to get in, because if you watch Philadelphia, the way that they're playing the Raiders today, but Philadelphia, their offense, something's going on. The turmoil that's going on that team. You just watch Saquon Barkley has not been able to get loose and be Saquon this year, and it's all been put on Jalen, and he's just not that type of guy. So it's going to be interesting just to see what happens when it all shakes out.
Well, we got a lot going on today. We got you up until kickoff between the Niners and the Titans, all ahead on 95.7 The Game here on the Kickoff Show, live from Laughing Monk Brewing, Oakmead Parkway, Sunnyvale, California. Again, a half hour away from doing our raffle giveaway, our ticket giveaway to the game today at Levi Stadium. So you still got time. If you're within 15, 20 minutes of Laughing Monk, stop by, grab some food, grab a drink, get ready for the game, and you might even have a chance to go to the game. Again, for all future home games, we have a free shuttle as well, 957thegame.com. Hit that Eventbrite link to get your spot. A free shuttle to and from Laughing Monk Brewing so you can hang out. Don't have to worry about all the traffic, getting in, getting out. Someone will do that for you every single home game for the San Francisco 49ers. They got 3 of them left, including today against the Titans. But all more ahead. We got some fun stuff coming up on the other side, too. We got to get into the story of the NFL, and that is Lorenzo Neal's former teammate, the 44-year-old Philip Rivers, making his return. And we got a piece of sound for you also on the other side that I want to get to that involves the great Lo Neal. All that and more ahead on the Kickoff Show on 95.7 The Game. We're back after this.
So, what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video Only.
Hi, I'm Lexi, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. If you're planning to propose this holiday, we're ready to make creating your engagement ring a warm, welcoming experience. At Shane Company, we're all about your style, your budget, your dream engagement ring. Explore the widest selection of diamonds and ring settings ready for you to see in person, or visit us at shaneco.com. You'll have your ring in days, not weeks. Our friendly jewelry consultants don't work on commission. There's never any pressure, just perfect proposals. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA World Cup here in the Bay Area. And our more than 110 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know, covering Bay Area sports for years, I've seen athletes go through it all. The highs, the lows, and the pain that comes with getting knocked down. But when it's not just a game, when you're the one injured, or when tragedy strikes someone you love, that's where Beam Law comes in. Beam Law is the Bay Area's go-to personal injury law firm. Whether it's a car accident, a serious injury, or a wrongful death, they're there to shoulder the legal burden so you can focus on what truly matters: rebuilding, recovery, and taking care of your family. Beam Law is local, and they win, with millions recovered for clients across the region. That's why SF Weekly voted them Best of the Bay 4 times. If you've been hurt or lost someone because of someone else's negligence, call Beam Law at 415-523-5555. 415-523-5555. That's 415-523-5555, or visit hurtinthebay.com. That's hurtinthebay.com, because it's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get back up. Beam Law, they've got your back, Bay Area.
Tune in to 95.7 The Game for Warriors Live, 60 minutes before tip-off. Every Warriors game throughout the season as we get ready for the action. Presented by Xfinity, your home court advantage. Brought to you by Xfinity. Watch all your favorite teams all in one place. Xfinity, imagine that.
Fox Sports Radio is taking over YouTube, and you can be a part of it.
Pay attention!
Just go to YouTube and search Fox Sports Radio. Hit that subscribe button and smash that notification bell and catch all the videos from your favorite shows. Two Pros and a Cup of Joe, Dan Patrick, Colin Cowherd, Doug Gottlieb, Covino and Rich, The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington, The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon, and The Ben Maller Show. Fox Sports Radio on YouTube.
Subscribe, hit that thumbs up icon, and comment away.
So, what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video Only.
Celebrating 40 years with extraordinary rewards. Since our humble beginnings, we've believed in setting the standard for luxury, entertainment, and hospitality. This year, we invite you to be part of a defining moment in our story. Join us as we celebrate 4 decades of excellence and experience the unparalleled luxury that has made us a legend. Indulge in the extraordinary. Be part of our legacy. Cash in at Cache Creek Casino Resort.
Here we go.
We're coming right back. Right back here on the kickoff show.
Now back to the kickoff show on 95.7 The Game.
Sorry, I'm all over the place. Lorenzo brought some of his friends out. We got people down, fans of the station here live at Laughing Monk Brewing.
It's a good time.
Your boy's talking mess during the commercial, man. He's got my head spinning.
Hey, it was crazy, Evans, we're talking about my workout buddy. Noah's here, and we're talking about, hey, how hard we work out. I said, hey, Evan likes to work out, and he walks up to Evan.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He stares at Evan. Evan's like, what the hell's going on? Who is this guy? He's trying to big boy Evan. Evan's looking around like, Lo, who is that guy? So it's great, man. But the fans are great. Laughing Monk, it's a great place to be. Come down, man. Grab a pop. Giving away some 2 tickets. Got to be present. 2 tickets to the day's game. Come down. They're going to raffle these things off. So get down here. Come grab a cold beer. Come grab some grubs. Great wings. Great taters. They got it all down here. Come on, hang out with me and Evans and talk a little Niners, bang, bang, Niner game. Let's keep this thing rolling.
Exactly, yeah. Our guy Jesse Moore, who's right here next to us, he's going to be doing the live raffle poll. So if you have a chance between now, again, and 12 o'clock, that's when they're going to do it. They'll pull 2 tickets for a lucky fan, friend, family, whoever, to go to the game today. It's a cool setup. And this is a season that I realize a lot of these games, may not seem like sexy matchups on paper, right? Cam Ward, the 2-11 Titans coming in. But you're getting a chance to see a 49ers team that is doing some special stuff right now. And look, all around the NFL, there's crazy stuff going down. There was just a last-second touchdown caught at the half by the Chargers.
Let's revisit that. The Chargers are down by freaking. He's right.
That's a big touchdown.
Kansas City just goes and scores with like 25 seconds left before half. And how about the Chargers in 25 seconds take the length of the field to get in the end zone? And that's what the big ruckus was about. People watching this Charger team come back. But this is crazy.
Well, that's the thing, though, is there was a Niners fan who was actually screaming, we got TVs everywhere here at Laughing Monk Brewing. We got all the games going on. People are watching left and right. The greatest sport that this country has to offer, the National Football League. You never know what you're going to see, and that's why also watching the Niners today, there is something about how every single game there's a new guy that steps up for him. We know that Christian McCaffrey is the superhero. He's going to be active today, even though he was questionable earlier in the week. He's got the cape on. He's putting all the weight on his shoulders. There's no doubt about that. But it could be George Kittle's day. It could be Ricky Pearsall's day today. It could be a Curtis Robinson, who's now their third-string linebacker, who's probably going to be starting today because Tatum Bethune is out. It could be a Keon White who came over in a trade for a 6th-round pick. You never know which San Francisco 49er is going to make the play on a given day to help them get the win. And that's another part about this team that feels a little bit like the little engine that could.
Yeah, it really is. It's like take your pick. You can just say, we don't know the guy who's going to make plays defensively because it's just guys take turns making plays. Just like a lot of teams, you see guys take turns making mistakes. This Niner team does a great job of guys stepping up, guys that you haven't heard a lot about, no superstars that make plays. You like you just alluded to, we know George Kittle's a superstar, but you know that Christian McCaffrey, definitely a superstar, one of the best backs, all-purpose backs in the league. But the other guys, and that's what's crazy when you look at the stats like you're talking about and you're alluding to who had the sacks, who had the interceptions, who led the team in receptions. All these things, when you look at it, it's just nameless, faceless guys that go out there and just do your job. Remember Bourne. Think about when Bourne comes in, freaking Jones comes in and play, he's balling out. They go bring in Bourne. What does he do? Freaking 100-some yards. Had some of his biggest games. And where's he been in the last couple of weeks? Not active?
No, but this is one thing that I also like about this team, and I'm glad you brought up Kendrick Bourne, is you're right. He's not really a factor anymore because Juwan Jennings is back and he's emerged. George Kittle's coming back. Pearsall's healthy. But you're not hearing the stink from Kendrick Bourne. No. You're not hearing a guy who's saying, oh, my gosh, I had 150 yards back-to-back weeks. Why am I not getting the ball? Why am I not a part of this offense anymore? He's out there and he'll make a couple plays. But this is a team that also, to me, has represented some selflessness. And I think this isn't meant to be a shot.
No.
Brandon Ayuk earlier this week was officially shut down for the season on injured reserve. He's not going to play for the Niners this year. Ever again. He's probably going to get released. It seems to be that way. His contract was voided. All the rest, we know this. But in a way, I feel like Brandon Ayuk has sort of represented the me over we of that position, of that kind of player. And the fact that he hasn't been there this season has allowed a guy like Kendrick Bourne to emerge and help you, who has a connection with Mac Jones. So the selflessness that the rest of these non-quote-unquote stars have represented for the Niners, that to me is important and a very important aspect of this team.
Man, Evan, you hit the nail right on the head. You think about Bourne and you think about what he did when everyone else around him wasn't doing it, and he stepped up 150 yards. Jennings was injured, hurt, toe hurt, shoulder, whatever. And Bourne just stepped in there and made crucial plays, won football games for you.
Yeah.
And now you have all your receivers back. And you're talking about a guy who's not disgruntled, talking about a guy who's still happy to be on this team. I'm listening to you, and you're talking about Ayuk, who's a great talent, no doubt. We know, first, he's a true number one. This guy is going to be amazing in this league. But it was one of those guys that say it made him about himself, not showing up, not really necessarily being the team, buying into the team. And that's okay if that's who you are. And that's fine. And a lot of guys are that way, and that's okay. But you're starting to see this team, Kyle Shanahan, the office, they're getting away from that. Those type, it's going more to just the meat and potatoes. I want guys that's going to be glued. They don't have to be flashy. They don't have to, but you know what? By design and by effort and by heart, and by determination, and by the will, and by us saying, this is your play. You engrave that. And I'm watching players, and I think that's what you see. That's what the difference is. You're like, how's Bourne and how some of these guys making these plays? Because at that game and doing all week, it's like, this ball's coming to you. You need to win. And you're creating that healthy competition on this team. And look what it's doing, and look what it has created. You've got a defense now that don't have any superstars. You don't have necessarily a superstar on that team, but on the defense right now. But look at the way that they're playing. When you look up, they had 2 sacks or 3 sacks as a defense. You're watching, they grabbing an interception. They're holding teams. They're not letting teams get in the end zone. You're holding them in the red zone. You're playing good red zone defense. You're bending, but you're not breaking. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing, and that's what I think is making this team very unique.
And that's what I think right now is what's given them a leg up on a lot of their opponents. Eventually talent might be the difference when it comes down to the postseason, which we believe the Niners are going to be able to get to. That might be the difference in them winning or losing a playoff game. But to me, they have a ton of guys who understand what kind of player they are, what their job is, and they don't try and do more than that. They don't have, I think, a lot of players that play outside themselves. And the few times we've seen that, I think probably more so from the quarterback, Brock Purdy on Monday Night Football, Purdy against Jacksonville earlier this season. When you've seen guys play outside themselves, the results haven't gone their way. But when they simply do what they're asked, this is why the coaching staff, to me, deserves so much credit, is because they are responsible for putting players in positions to make plays. And clearly, they know what they're doing because those guys have been in positions more often than not throughout this season. But there's this kind of this trust, I think, with the Niners right now that each and every week gets even more, it gets stronger every single week, because if you're a third-string player and you're having to step in and play starting reps, well, you got to trust that your coach is putting you in the right spot to allow you to play fast, to play without thinking, to play with some violence, and they're just doing it over and over again. And so I think that this Niners team, their superpower is their trust and belief in one another, that even though they don't have the big names and the big bucks attached to their backs, that they can play with anybody in the National Football League.
And it's not supposed to happen like this.
Yeah.
You know, you got to realize when you're talking about guys, and today you don't necessarily see a bunch of superstars, but you think about teams around the league. You think about the Dallas Cowboys. You look at CeeDee Lamb. You look at their receivers. You look at freaking Saquon and certain teams. I can just name. You can name a superstar on their offense that's pretty amazing. When you look at defenses, think about even Cleveland's bad as there is. They got freaking a Myles Garrett. You have guys. When you talk about even with the Raiders, you got a Crosby. You can go around and you can start naming teams, defensive guys. Even though the teams are right, you got a guys because other teams have superstars on offense. What superstar does this team have on defense to match up with the rest of the league's offenses that has superstars? That, to me, is within itself unreal.
Their best player on defense right now is probably Deommodore Lenoir.
Yeah.
But he's not a household name.
He's not. And he's a guy that's been coming off injury. Lenoir, he'll come up and hit you. Safety, get down there in the box. The guy will fight you. He'll hit. He'll a banger. But when you look at those things and you're like, wow, he is probably the biggest name on the defense right now. I mean you got Farrell that was on the streets and, that's been you know what I mean? That never been a surefire.
No, exactly. I think that, you
just guys.
Well, it's to the point where, so Sam Okawanu and Tatum Bethune are probably not going to play in this football game today. And at the beginning of the year, if I told you, well, Tatum Bethune's out in Week 15, Sam Okawanu's out in Week 15, you go, okay, well, they probably got some guys. But those guys are starting players now. Those guys are impact players. I mean, Tatum Bethune is a reason why when Fred Warner went down, we're looking at the Niners saying, all right, well, they actually might be all right. They're not better without Fred Warner, but they're able to stay above water.
13 tackles one game. I mean, the guy's he's all over the field.
He's just ready to step in and make his presence known. So, these are guys who they're not going to have today, but are becoming more local names.
When will they be back? Is any of these guys that got any time frame?
It's supposed to be short-term injuries, so it's not like they're going to be out for the season. And they've got some dudes back, your Gross Matos and all the rest. But again, these are names that are impact guys for the Niners. You're not looking at a guy. I think Zach Bond was the first-team All-Pro middle linebacker last year. Plays for the Eagles. They're not guys that are going to get those regular season accolades or recognition, but it doesn't mean they aren't damn good with the way they're playing right now.
Right, and they are damn good because when you think about what they've done, this defense, if you look at it, they're not giving up a lot of points. You take that Ram game away, and you think about what they've been allowing. This defense has been stingy. It's not one of the bottom of the line defenses anymore. I think that you see this team start to evolve, and I think Robert Saleh talked about that. Hey, went to these guys that saying, okay, who are these guys now? They're starting to say, look, we're the team. This is your starting. Look, guys, quit looking around for guys to come back. This is who we are. You guys are it. So stop thinking that someone else is going to come in and bail you out. You are the people that are going to bail yourself out. And I think that once he made that statement and all these guys start to believe it, look at the way they're playing.
888-957-9570 is the number. Evan Giddings, Lorenzo Neal here live at Laughing Monk Brewing before the San Francisco 49ers take on the Tennessee Titans off the bye week. The stretch run, 4 games left beginning today. Game kicks off at 1:25 here at Levi's Stadium. Again, 15 minutes away from your chance potentially. If you're driving by, still a chance to stop by. Get in the raffle. We're going to be doing a ticket giveaway for today's game. 2 tickets to see the San Francisco 49ers. All right, Pasta, if we have him, could we please go out to Phil Mo Mike?
Phil Mo Mike
calls in every single Sunday. Love to hear from him. One of the best callers we got here at 95.7 of the game, honestly. What's up, Phil Mo? Good morning, man. What's going on?
Oh, man, that means a lot, man. I got to give a big shout-out. Hey, y'all don't know this, but 95.7, I used to work on 3rd Street. But listen, man, Jesse Moore is a real one. Shout out to Jesse Moore. He's been in radio for about 15 years, doing his thing. Tony Caffarelli, Tone C, that's my guy. That's my day one, Tone C. I don't know if he still works for y'all. He a real one. And last but not least, certainly not least, Lorenzo Neal. Man, Lorenzo, I smile every time I see you, man. You make me want to start preaching for real.
Come on, baby. Come on and preach the word, baby.
I got to come to the altar. I got to come to the altar, man. For real. But listen, man, same church, same pew. Hey, the Niners, we looking good. I love it. This team is such a fun team. It's
What has
like,
been the
weird,
what
like,
has been the let
every
me ask you
week,
something. Filmo, what
Yeah.
has been the biggest surprise to you? Just defensively, what has surprised you about this defense and solid this year?
You know what? It's funny. Robert Saleh has all of his defensive has a characteristics of bend but not breaking. And that's kind of surprising. Like if we would have lost Bosa and still do it, okay, that's one thing. But to lose Fred Warner and still do this, it's freaking amazing. So I have to give kudos to the coaching. Evan, you talked about being buttoned up. This is actually the most buttoned-up team that I've seen the Niners have. We've had a lot of talented teams, but I don't think no team has been this buttoned up on all three levels, and I think it's going to go forward for us. And I actually, again, that's why I love this team because it's so surprising. I love the rookies, Upton Stout. If Michael Williams could have played, he would have been a solid player for us. I just love everything about the team, man, for real. And then they have an underdog mentality and great coaching. And who knows, they kind of remind me of the Patriots, the New York Giants, those weird teams that won. It's like, where did they come from?
Wow.
I'm with you, Filmo. I mean, that's why, thinking about since we've been doing the show together for the last few years, don't get me wrong. It was a lot of fun when the Niners were beating the brakes off of teams in 2023. Even in 2022, when Brock Purdy emerges, you make your run to the NFC Championship game. You want to always compete for a Super Bowl, which the team up until this season was thought to believe they could. But that's kind of why, in a way, I've had more fun watching this team is because coming into the year, there were no expectation.
Right.
You knew you paid the quarterback, you brought back Kittle, you brought back Warner, but you said goodbye to all of these mainstays from your previous contending teams that I did not expect the Niners to be 9-4. I'm going to just be honest. Even with the schedule, I did not think this team was going to have a chance, again, like we said earlier, to compete for the division and maybe even backdoor into the 1 seed. That's just something that wasn't on my bingo card. So each and every week, I'm having fun watching these guys, in my mind, play over what people expected them to. And that's why I think that they have kind of, I don't want to say caught people by surprise because they do have quality players still, but they're beginning, I think, to turn people's minds that they actually could be something beyond just a feel-good story and a team that bounced back from a season that didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, do you look at this team and, kind of what Fillmore was talking to, let's get into that a little bit more. Do you think because it's buttoned up, because they don't have the big names or the talent, what's more, is it the big name or the talent, or you think that these guys are just saying, we can't make these mistakes, so it's just more attention to details? What is allowing this team, in your opinion, play as well as they are?
I think the trust, the trust between the players and the coaching staff, I think, is apparent because, again, like there hasn't been every single week when the Niners, and you see it around the NFL too, but there's always a couple of just boneheaded plays. I mean, go as recently as Thursday night against the Falcons, with the Falcons and the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield throws a boneheaded interception when you're up by 8 points with a chance to go ice the game.
Right.
Over the middle, when the Falcons are driving, 3rd and 28. That's a play where if you just keep everything in front of you, you get them off the field. You get them off the field. Later in that drive, a fumble. Great play by the defense. Forces a fumble. There's 6 Buccaneers around the football compared to 1 Falcon.
Right.
And somehow the Falcons get the football. That's just a play where I think the Niners make one of those 3 stands. Either they don't make the pick, they get them off the field, or they recover the fumble, because this is a team that, to me, plays with a lot more discipline than a lot of the other groups around the NFL that I've been watching.
I agree. And that's kind of where I was going, because, like you say, they say, well, man, you don't necessarily have all these studs. You look at Philadelphia, you look at their defensive line, studs up and down that defensive front. And you say, okay, what does the Niners have? Do they have studs up and down that defensive front, or just guys? Think about Farrell and the guys that just got hurt and different guys. And it's like, you're like, but these are the starters. What's making them play as well and still, and they don't have the talent, they don't have the name behind it, they don't have the backing behind it, they don't got the salary behind it. What is it? It's attitude, it's commitment, it's the heart, and it's attention to detail. sometimes, you know what, the guy may be stronger, but if I get lower than this guy and I'm like, look, he's stronger than me, but I'm going to be lower and I'm going to put a foot in the ground and I'm just not going to give up any ground. And I'm going to make a pal and I'm going to hold that center and I'm going to hold that guard because I know that whoever's going to be my linebacker, I know that they're going to fire and get downhill. If I can just do my job, not try to split the double team and try to go get the tackle or not let them push me up off the line of scrimmage, and now the linebacker's got to run a bubble and he's hiding behind there and he can't feel it. If I can hold the point, I know someone's coming down, firing that A gap or hitting that B gap. I think the little things to this team that said, okay, look, I know they want to run toss. I got my outside shoulder free. I'm going to be hard on the ground. You know what? And I'm going to shrink this thing, and I'm not going to give up ground. I'm not going to try to stay up and skate and try to make the tackle, come off and make the tackle. I'm just going to hold the point, keep my outside shoulder free. I'm going to shrink it here, and I know that back's got to go in there, and I know my helps. That's what they're doing. I think when you're not as good, talented enough to make big-time plays and do certain things, it's about the attention to details. It was kind of like you were talking about with the Patriots back in the day when you saw the Patriots on defense when they did Super Bowl. It wasn't a bunch of great guys on defense. It was a bunch of great guys that did their job, a bunch of average guys. Teddy Bruschi, come on. This guy's 220 pounds or 210, 15 pounds. He was a little boy. And I said, I remember going up to Teddy and I said, oh man, and I want to take Teddy out. And Teddy would run up and get ready to block, and he would just chop me right at the legs, bro. And I would fall face forward, and I was like, God, dog. So now I would come at him. I would start chopping my feet, and then he would, boom, give me a move. And it's like, man, and now he had me guessing. Not that I was afraid, not that I couldn't take him out, but he made me have to adjust my game because if I just ran at him and tried to hurt him and tried to put that big bow on him, he would take my legs out and it hurt. And you're like, dude, I can't run full speed at him because he's going to do so. So now it made me challenge and do different things. So I'm trying to be – so you don't play as fast. So I think when you have a defense and guys in certain areas saying, look, if you do this, let's play a way that you take away their strengths. I just think what they're doing defensively and schematically with Robert Saleh and the belief that they have, man, I'm telling you, this is not common, bro. This is really not common for this team and this defense for as many injuries and as many superstars that they have hurt to be playing as well as they are.
And that's why now with a month left, it's like they've already gotten past, to me, the most difficult part of their season, which is why I think the belief is beginning to sort of spread, not just in the locker room, but also around the fan base as well. It's like, why not us? You know, why not this football team? Because again, we've kind of talked about it, but there's some teams in the NFC who they got some holes in their resume. I mean, shoot, even the two best teams in my opinion, the Rams and the Seahawks, you've technically beaten them this year. And I know one was on Thursday night, one was in week 1, but I think that is also something that's fueling the Niners of, well, if these are the two best teams in the conference, maybe the two best teams in the NFL, we've already shown that we can beat them. And while I wouldn't say that they'd be favored if they played again, and certainly come Week 18 here at Levi's, I think that's going to be an uphill battle for the Niners against the Seahawks. But having that in the back of your mind, to me, is also something that, all right, our process, which is discipline, which is, as you're talking about, attention to detail, all of the little things, it's working. You know, it's not like we're a process-driven squad and, well, we're 500 or sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. No, it's shown you that you can be 9-4, potentially 10-4 if you win today with that sort of mindset. So over the course of this season, do they have all the talent in the world? No. Have they gotten hit by injuries? Yes. But they've also, I think, every single week sort of doubled down on that belief that what they're doing right now, it doesn't matter how crazy it is or how many people don't believe in them, it's working, and that's really all that matters.
You're absolutely right, and I think what you're talking about is just belief, and not just belief. I think when you look at the team that beat up on this team and they just got off the bus and they punched the Niners in the face, and the reason why, because the Niners got off the bus and punched them in the face, that was the Rams.
Yep.
So you had both games and when it was like, hey, okay, one team got it, and then the Rams came in here and said, hey, look, let's jump on them, let's not let up, and the Niners still made it a game. It still could have been better. But didn't really have an answer on defense. Let's be fair. Let's be honest. Now, I think when you look at Seattle, the Niners now, they're in a place where they know what they did to Seattle. Seattle felt that they weren't ready. Oh, God, the Niners thought they were good. But now we're a different team. They're coming here, too. I just think that you're going to see a different – we're not getting ahead of Tennessee. You got to play the Titans today. But I'm just saying I look forward to that because I think you already played against the Rams that came in for revenge. You're going to have another against Seattle that's going to be coming in looking for revenge. And if you can match them and beat them and find out where you're at because the situation is going to be the same and maybe more playing on the line, it will do this team great for what the rest of the year and what the playoffs and what a lot of other things is going to look like. I think this team is getting its stride at the best time with average guys, and not just average Joes, but with guys now that are believing that they're no longer average. Guys now that saying, you know what, we belong to start. Guys now that saying this defense is not the ragtag. Guys now that offense can't say, oh, we got to go score 30 because our defense is not good enough. This defense believes it's good enough. You watch Muhammad come down there and hit. You watch the way that little safety watch the way the guys are flying around. They're saying, look, have caught up. We are ready to play and play against anyone.
888-957-9570 is the number. We got an hour left here on the kickoff show, live from Laughing Monk Brewing. We're also, of course, giving away those tickets. We're going to do these giveaways again for the last 3 home games, including today. So you got to get down here. You got to check in with Jesse Moore. You got to check in with Danae. You got to check in with everybody that's helping you have some fun live here at Laughing Monk in Sunnyvale, right off of Oakmead Parkway before the Niners take on the Tennessee Titans. It's a lot of fun. It's a great experience. So come on by. We got an hour left in the show.
Don't you want to see my buddy Noe throw the ball through with those muscles? You think he can throw the ball through the hoop?
I'm not sure he can raise his arm over his head.
Oh, nice.
I'm not sure he's got that range of motion right now. He's a little too big, man.
Hey, wow. I got my money. I got my money on Mikey. Mike, I got my money on you.
I do too. He looks like he's got a little more.
And the ball throw out there. So. Yeah, we had to get him back. He was on Evan.
I had to get him back. All right, we're going to step aside, come back after this, and more on the kickoff show after this on 95.7 The Game.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast!
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
My name is Emma. I am 13 years old. 6 years ago, I was injured in a car accident that left me paralyzed from the waist down. Last January, I got to meet my service dog, Marcia. Marcia helps me open doors. She picks up things that I can't reach. She makes me feel like together we can do anything. We are just one of the thousands of teams Canine Companions has paired together over the past 50 years. Visit canine.org to see the many ways you can change lives.
Red and Gold Game Day starts at Laughing Monk Brewing. Park for free. Enjoy amazing food, ice-cold beer, and every game on TV. Catch 95.7 The Game's pregame show. Then hop on the free shuttle straight to the stadium. Sign up now at 957thegame.com.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video Only.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on.
like a close friend who never lies. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. This holiday season through December 21st, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto-pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
95.7 The Game and Great Clips have teamed up for the new basketball season. We want our listeners to look fresh with a great haircut from Great Clips. Each week, we'll pick a lucky winner to score a gift card. For a chance to win, courtesy of Great Clips, enter online at 957thegame.com.
The NFL is taking over the Bay Area with Super Bowl Experience presented by Jersey Mike's. February 3rd through 7th at the Moscone Center, North and South. Dive into an immersive football festival celebrating all 32 teams, plus interactive games, player autographs, photos with the Vince Lombardi Trophy, exclusive NFL shop merchandise, and much more. It's the ultimate Super Bowl week event with fun for all ages. Tickets start at just $40. And kids 12 and under attend for free. Visit superbowl.com to buy your tickets today.
Americans pay about $5 billion to control termites and repair their damage every year. Many people underestimate exactly how much damage they do. Call Pacific Coast Termite today at 800-PACIFIC for a free home inspection. Certain restrictions apply. No tenting, though. No double bagging your food. No pet sitting. Mention KCBS and get 10% off termite treatments and a 2-year guarantee on their work. Call 800-PACIFIC, 800-PACIFIC, or go to PacificCoastTermite.com.
At Straight Talk, we know the holidays are your time to say
yes.
So why put up with a wireless company that makes you say
out of data?
Or
no service here?
Switch to Straight Talk and say yes to real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network covered by Verizon. And with a free 5G phone when you activate select plans, someone else in your family can say yes! Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Based on RootMetrics State of 5G Report, United States 1H 2025. Experiences may vary. Not an endorsement of Verizon. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Get more and spend less on groceries at Smart & Final this holiday season. Shop low prices on everything you need to eat, drink, and be merry. Smart & Final. Where else? For your chance to win a gift card courtesy of Smart & Final. Visit the contest page at 957thegame.com.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with AutoPay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to 90 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Now back to the kickoff show on 95.7 The Game.
All right, we got an hour between now and when the Niners get set to take on the Tennessee Titans here in Week 15. Off the bye week, Niners feeling good at 9-4, and they, of course, welcome in the 2-11 Titans led by Cam Ward and co. Evan Giddings, Lorenzo Neal live at Laughing Monk Brewing, having some fun during the breaks. We gave away some tickets to the game later today. All great prizes ahead for the next 2 home games as well here right off of Oakmead Parkway in Sunnyvale. All right, one thing I wanted to have a little fun with, Lo, is the story in the NFL this week is not about the 11-win Broncos or the potentially, 1-seed Patriots. It's not about even the Eagles who are falling apart, think they're doing something against the Raiders right now. It's not about the Niners, the Rams. It's about a guy you used to play with.
Yeah.
It's about Phillip Rivers, who is 44 years old and is making his return to the NFL. He hasn't played since the pandemic.
I know. I'm like,
what did you think when you heard that news?
Too old. I was thinking the same thing. Can I hear that one more time? He's what?
He's too old.
It was crazy because when I heard it, I was thinking he's too. Help me out. But anyways,
too old.
It's I just, I love Phillip. Played with him with Chargers. Great competitor. Great person. He's got a heart of a lion. If you protect him, the guy can throw 300 yards. He could have probably 200 yards or 250 today if he's protected. You're playing against Seattle, Legion of Doom in Seattle. This defense, to me, they're playing the best defense in the whole NFL. Phillip, when you're 45, 44, and you ain't played in that long, you don't fall the same. You don't get so you're not used to falling on the ground and running and just falling and jumping and getting in positions, getting hit and getting up. Your body doesn't bend, muscles and ligaments. I have to stretch it. I have to stretch all the time and do Bikram yoga and do little stuff just to keep the muscles pliable. Phillip is not necessarily limbo, so I just hope he doesn't get hurt. I mean, I think the guy, if he's upright and you protect him, he's got weapons. They got a great run game. He can play well. But if you don't protect him, it can be a long day. And it can be a painful day for Phillip.
I mean, he's a big boy, right? 6'5", 230, 240. But you're right. I'm thinking not necessarily about, all right, does he have the arm strength? He never had the biggest arm, especially later in his career. Last time he was with the Colts, it was quick passes, quick screens, slants, outs, all that kinds of stuff, along with the running game itself. But the first time he gets hit by Leonard Williams, the first time he gets drilled by Devin Witherspoon coming off the edge, I just feel like Mike McDonald and that defense, I mean, they're going to throw so many things at him. And I think mentally he's still able to do what he used to do.
Yes.
But the moment he gets hit, the moment that he's got to get up off the turf, it's interesting because he made a career out of being an Ironman. He never missed a start in his career once he became a starter, but in game, to take those hits that some of these guys do, and I'm thinking about some of the offensive lines around the league that don't protect their quarterbacks. The Colts generally do, but if he gets sacked 3 or 4 times, which is a possibility today, how's he going to be performing, and how's he going to feel on Monday, Lo?
It's not Mondays. How's he going to be feeling today? I mean, during the game. I mean,
comes out of the locker room in halftime.
And you're getting hit, and just the amount of pressure that's following you. If you're going down, if your knee's caught a certain way, and you're getting that 300 pounds coming on top of you, are you able to fall? You know how sometimes you go down, you throw your body just to you contort it to get in a healthier position. Can he do that? Does he have the reflexes to do that? If he's running, does he know how to fall the right way and roll to a shoulder? Those reflexes, to me, are going to be challenged.
Yeah.
I think that as far as him getting the ball out of his hand and being able to throw the ball, being able to to find receivers and know what the defense is doing. If they're giving him cover 3 or 4, can he just Phillip Rivers? It's like riding a bike. That he was not going to lose. It's can he move out of the pocket? Can he move out of harm's way? Can he get rid of the ball? Can he go down and fall the right? Can he slide? That's the part, man, to me, that is the question. And look, Phillip Rivers at 44, he probably can. I know he can throw the ball. I'm not worried about that. I'm really, and I'm not laughing about it. I'm worried about his health.
Yeah.
I'm really worried about his health today, especially going against a Seattle team that's going to get after. So what do? Get rid of the ball quick. What do? You run the ball. What do? You do play action. You keep him safe early, but it's going to come down to a time when you can hold him, protect him so long, then you got to go 7-step drop, and those guys are going to pin their ears back, and I hope old Philly turnstile will be ready for it.
Yeah, and again, it's the first series or two, probably not a hard thing for him to memorize the game script, what to do. I just wonder, too, it's like this isn't a soft landing. Like, you're getting dropped back into the middle of a season, which, by the way, the Colts still need to win.
Right.
I mean, they're still in a playoff hunt, and right now the Houston Texans are on their heels. That is a team that is rolling with and playing with fire. So the Colts really need him. The fact that I know he's friends with Shane Steichen and the system is familiar, but I almost wonder if there was a better option for the Colts. Selfishly, because I grew up watching him, I love to see it, and I'm going to walk down memory lane. But oftentimes, too, it's, all right, there's a reason why he hasn't been on a football field in 5 seasons. And I know the Niners had considered him when Brock Purdy got hurt, and during that 2022 season, just right here, my man. Wings right here. Yeah. But a lot of times people, I think people had considered him. But to actually pull the trigger on it, I know that he's one of the guys that would play if he could until he was 60 years old.
Right.
But just the physicality of it, you get Seattle, and then they play the Niners next week. So the Niners might see Phillip Rivers
I hope so.
on Monday Night Football in Indianapolis.
It's going to be interesting because there is probably guys out there that you could have probably maybe, a little more healthier, maybe a little more younger, just retiring. I got Derek Carr on the phone. Maybe go with Derek Carr, who's still a young guy. He retired, but why do you get Derek Carr? There are some guys maybe out there that you would, but Phillips, he knows the system, and I think then it would come down to the thing that who knows the system better, him or Derek Carr. But Carr's a smart guy, cerebral, knows how to win football games too. So I think that would have been maybe a safer option. But I think Phillip probably knows the dialogue and the terminology of the offense probably
a little more
better.
Trust.
So, but it's going to be, I'm telling you, it's going to be tough sledding. Phillip Rivers coming out of retirement, up for the Hall of Fame too. Then now he's going to go back.
He's got to reset, yeah.
Reset,
but reset.
It's going to be interesting.
He also got back on that insurance policy for the next 5 seasons.
Exactly,
too.
right. So he probably needed it. He got insurance for life. He made that clip. But I tell you, he must loves the game, but I cannot wait to watch that game. I think the world's going to be watching the old man play.
Obviously a lot of people are going to be watching. Now, one thing that it had me thinking about was a little bit down memory lane, and I think we have the sound. This was making the rounds this week. You and Phillip Rivers, along with Gates and Sean Merriman, you guys did a commercial back in the day for NFL Network.
Yes,
Can we please play it for Low Pasta? This was, I think this was 2006 or 2007.
Take away LaDainian, the Chargers got nothing.
Excuse me, Greg? Yeah. We got issues with your thesis. Frankly, I'm offended. And you don't want to offend Mr. Gates.
Has this ever been you, busted for exaggerating your football knowledge? With NFL Game Day, help is on the way.
Man, you delivered that line.
That's great. Oh, my goodness. I remember doing that commercial for the NFL Network. My buddies were giving me a hard time about that. But, yeah, LaDainian Tomlinson, we know MVP of the league, 48 touchdowns. What he did was unbelievable, 30-some touchdowns. I mean, set a season record. Yeah. And he's like, without Chargers, without LaDainian has nothing. Phillip Rivers says, I got a problem with that statement because it's Phillip Rivers, of course, is the quarterback. But now, hey, Phillip Rivers is going to have a problem, and it's not with that statement. It's with the Seattle Seahawks today. But that's a friggin' legendary. I'm glad you guys found that clip.
Well, so when you guys are filming that commercial, obviously, you got your lines, and I love that. A lot of my buddies, I sent it to them, and they're like, Oh, I got a problem with your thesis. That's the winner from the commercial. But like, how long does that kind of take? When did you do it? Was it when you were in New York? Like, how does that all get done?
it was done in L.A.
Okay.
In L.A. at the down where it's Clover City, where the NFL Network was, and all of us go there, and we get suited up, and they tell us kind of what we're going to do, and took a couple cuts and. Boom, we were making TV, baby. We had the hot commercial. Then you like the dance move, lean back, had the dance moves going there. So it was a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun.
That's pretty cool. And obviously, yeah, Phillip Rivers is making a start today for the Indianapolis Colts in Seattle. Seattle right now ahead of the San Francisco 49ers. Having a lot of fun here on the kickoff show. And thinking about the rest of the NFC right now in reference to the Niners, this is I think a group where the Niners should be looking at the playoff picture, not necessarily projecting ahead as far as, who we're going to play, what we're going to do. But if things ended today low, the Niners would be the 6th seed. They have a chance, obviously, to jump to the 5 right now. But they would be matching up with the Philadelphia Eagles. They would have to go to Philly. But the Eagles, to me, are a team that while they're defending Super Bowl champs, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt. There's something off about them this season. It feels like a couple of years ago after they lost in the Super Bowl. Remember, they were like 11-2. They fell apart. Right. They lost in the first round of the playoffs. That's a team where I'm looking at the Niners. A month ago, I would say there's no chance in hell they beat the Eagles. Now, a month later, down the home stretch, I'm thinking the Niners might be a matchup that helps them.
Yeah, I think right now, if the playoffs started, I would love to go to Philadelphia. If you say, where do you want the Niners to go? Give me Philly. Let me go to Philadelphia. But you watch the way Philadelphia is playing. You take away the Raiders, they're going crazy on the Raiders, and everyone's like, oh, they're acting like they're back. You're playing the Raiders, my God, without Geno Smith. So I think when you think about Philly's inability to run the ball, the inability to throw the ball on a consistent basis, I think that if you looked at that game, it would be a 2-point favor. They'll be dogs by 2. That Philly would probably be favored by 2 to 3. That's how bad Philadelphia is playing. That's what their inability to score on offense. Guarantee it's not no 10-digit lead for Philadelphia. No one right now is betting on Philadelphia.
No, and that's the thing, too, about it I think is sort of interesting is you think about what the Niners do well, and it's all of the little things. And that's all of that's what Philly doesn't do, right? The Eagles, there's no doubt they have a more talented team. They got bigger names, bigger salary cap hits, all the rest. They got the Pro Bowlers. But what they don't have, to me, is where the Niners have excelled, in that's an ability to play solid, complementary, consistent football. And that's why against a group like Philly, I'm not saying the Niners, if they matched up against L.A. or Seattle, maybe even Green Bay, I'm taking them in that game. But where my mind is beginning to shift with San Francisco is there's absolutely a path for them if they match up with a team like Philly or whoever wins that division, to be honest, because the Cowboys are still on their heels. If they get that NFC East matchup, I like San Francisco against them. And I can't believe that I'm saying that because I wouldn't have felt that way a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I'd rather San Francisco play Philly than Chicago. I'm going to be honest. I think that even though San Fran can beat both of those teams, I think Chicago can score more.
They can run the ball.
And they can run the ball. They got some good offensive line. They can get after you. So, and the Niners have struggled at that. So they've struggled at times. So I just look at it. Doesn't scare me. The Niners are in a good place, and they could even leapfrog some other teams today, like you're saying, and maybe get as high as 5. But it's just going to be just interesting because I'm looking at Philly and looking at a couple teams in the NFC. NFC right now doesn't scare me, except, like I said, the Rams and Seattle, which you and I both agree that are playing pretty good ball.
Yeah, and look, the Rams are going to be playing the Lions today. And then there's a big matchup on Thursday between the Rams and the Seahawks, that rematch that came down to the wire. 4 picks from Sam Darnold in their first meeting, but still nearly won, lost by 2. So that's going to be a good game. If the Niners win today, Detroit helps you out a little bit. You're going to be in lockstep with the Rams. Then Seattle has a chance. I think the team to me that has the path to the 1 certainly is L.A.
Right.
But you should not discount the Niners for potentially surging in that regard. I look at the NFC and teams. You taught me this a while back. Is teams who have a shot, like they get better or they get worse. And the Niners are a team that I think you just have to say over the course of the season have gotten drastically better than the group that was there in week 1.
Oh, without a doubt. And I think that the part that's really gotten a lot better collectively, like we talked about saying, play complementary football. I think offense have gotten collectively better. I think defense has gotten collectively better. When you think about this offense earlier in the year, they had struggled. Christian McCaffrey show. Now you're starting to see other guys step up and make plays. They're starting to get in the end zone a little bit more, converting on third downs a little bit more. You look at defensively. Defensively, I think they've made huge strides too. They're starting to play better defense, starting to get some 3-and-outs. They're starting to change field position. Didn't have any turnovers. Now the turnovers are starting to come back, starting to sway to the other side. They're actually getting turnovers. Didn't have a lot of sacks. They're actually starting to get sacks. So this is a team that collectively, special teams has gotten better. You're talking about here's a team that's gotten better in all three phases, and you need to be doing that in November and December.
If you're thinking about teams in the NFC not named L.A. or Seattle, you could throw Green Bay in there too, because it feels like, they're not a surefire shot for that division,
right,
but they feel like the best team in that division. Who else would you put in the group of San Francisco as far as dangerous teams, kind of like dark horses, as we look ahead towards the playoff picture?
Yeah, I'm glad you said don't put
Green
Bay in there, because Green Bay was a team that you and I thought that was probably the best team in the NFC, and just their inability to score points. Their defense have played pretty well, and look like they're starting to get some things together. You and I both think they're going to beat Denver today, but another team that you don't want to play, and I think the coach puts them in harm's way sometimes. You know where I'm going, Detroit Lions. I think Detroit is comparable to the 49ers, but maybe more explosive offensively. I don't know if their defense, even though they got Hutch, they got a pretty good defensive guy, I don't know if their defense is better than the Niners. That's can you believe that we're saying that? And they have a superstar on defense, but I think their offense, if they get in, they're a team that could be a handful. So that's where I think it's Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay doesn't scare you at all. Dallas, Dallas is Dallas. They can score, and then at times they can just go to sleep. They can't score, and sometimes they can't play defense. At times they're just like which Dallas team is going to show up, and that's why they're in the predicament that they're in, is because they've been very, very inconsistent. So when you keep looking at teams and you say, okay, well, what about the Carolina Panthers? Carolina Panthers is an interesting team because they're right there with Tampa Bay. They can show you that they can light it up. They can play some decent defense at times. So I don't know if they're ready to make that step to say that they scare you. So I just by that process alone, I think that you would just have to say that the Niners, to me, and the Detroit Lions are those two teams that you say they have a shot. They're the outside guys, but if you get them in the playoffs, they can hurt you.
And I think it's because they have those singular kinds of playmakers. For the Lions, their Christian McCaffrey is Jahmyr Gibbs. That guy can wreck a game. And to your point, that's why I'm looking at these teams who are dangerous in the NFC. And I know the Niners' run game is actual rushing yards hasn't been prolific this year, but Christian McCaffrey, because of his dual threat ability, is a guy who can wreck a game. The thing about Philly that is frustrating is that they do have a game changer in Saquon, but they can't run the ball.
No.
And so that to me is eventually going to limit them and kind of be their downfall. That's why I look at San Francisco, I look at Detroit, and even Chicago, because those are all three teams that either because of their running back, they have a way to control games more
Chicago.
so than Philadelphia. And even Green Bay is also dependent on the run game. Yeah. If Jacobs is healthy, I like him, but he's in and out. He's getting a little older.
Chicago has a good offensive line, and they can run the ball. I don't think their backs, like you just talked about Jahmyr Gibbs, though. If that guy's on, he's a guy. Detroit's offense is almost unstoppable because now your quarterback can have time to throw the ball. He's got some receivers. They can be Gibbs to me. He's my favorite back. I know Atlanta's got a great back too.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm not talking McCaffrey, but give me Gibbs. What he brings to the offense, the juice that he brings, his ability to make guys miss, the jitterbug, what he can do as a receiver too. If they get in, if Detroit gets in the playoffs, they're going to be hell.
Yeah, no, they're scary. And obviously the Niners will have to wait to see what unfolds for the NFC postseason picture. All they can do is to control what they can, and that's today against the Tennessee Titans. So we got a half hour left here on the kickoff show. We're going to take you up until the top of the hour. Also later on today, the Warriors got something going on as well. They're taking on the Portland Trailblazers later on this afternoon. So Mark Grandy is going to have post-game reaction for you, and then he'll have Warriors Live and wrap-up later on tonight. All ahead, sports, local live, all day long on 95.7 The Game. Evan Giddings and Lorenzo Neal, we're here live at Laughing Monk Brewing in Sunnyvale. So we're going to step aside, come back, go around the NFL, talk about some of these games going on, talk about the postseason picture, talk about the games ahead for the 1 o'clock slate as well. That's all coming up on 95.7 The Game here on the Kickoff Show.
Bang, bang.
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video Only.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA World Cup here in the Bay Area. And our more than 110 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Kohl's Customer Appreciation Event is here, right in time for the gift exchange. Even though everyone pretends gifting isn't a competition, it kinda is. At Kohl's, save on gifts everyone will fight over. From sweaters and flannels to air fryers, toaster ovens, and more. Because deep down, the gift exchange isn't just about giving, it's also about winning. Shop Kohl's and save on top gifts now. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Offers end December 14th. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Paid for by Reliable Legal Marketing.
Attention California residents. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, including chronic lymphocytic leukemia, a common subtype, is one of the most common cancers in the United States. If you or loved one was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma or chronic lymphocytic leukemia and were exposed to Roundup weed killer, you could be entitled to cash compensation. Bayer, the owner of Roundup, has agreed to pay more than $10 billion to cancer victims linked to the weed killer. Call our Weed Killer Cancer Hotline now to see if you're entitled to cash compensation. If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma or chronic lymphocytic leukemia and were exposed to Roundup, call now. Our attorneys have the experience and specialize in fighting for everyday people to get the compensation you deserve. If you or a loved one was diagnosed, even if a loved one has passed away, call 800-341-4933 now. But hurry, time is limited. Call 800-341-4933. 800-341-4933.
Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome. Will Trial Law, LLC, 1001 Bannock Street, Denver, Colorado, 80204.
When back to the office means back in traffic
from an earlier crash.
Turn to the traffic leader, KCBS.
And has multiple lanes closed.
Brought to you by your NorCal Honda dealers. Get the best deals of the year during Happy Honda Days on the fuel-efficient CR-V Hybrid.
All guests on 95.7 The Game appear on the River Islands guest line.
Dub Nation, this is Jimmy Butler, and you never know when I'll be on the River Islands guest line.
Dub Nation, this is Stephen Curry, and you never know when I'll be on the River Islands guest line. So make sure to keep it locked on 95.7 The Game.
River Islands in Lathrop is the best-selling master plan community in all of Northern California, with its lakes, parks, trails, and collection of new home neighborhoods. The good life can be your life. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands?
If a Lenovo gaming computer is on your holiday list, don't shop around. Just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com. It's your last chance to score exclusive deals on the gaming PCs you want, like the Lenovo Legion Tower 5 Gen 10 gaming desktop and Lenovo Lock gaming laptop. So avoid all that shopping chaos and price comparing, and just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com, where PCs are up to 35% off. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo
Lenovo. Elevate your kitchen at the Miele Innovation Center at Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill. Out of your dreams and into your kitchen. Select the qualifying built-in kitchen appliance package that is right for you. With unrivaled technology and luxury-grade quality, when you bring home a Miele, you're bringing home true innovation. Now, for a limited time, save up to 10% with the purchase of a qualifying Miele kitchen package. Visit the Miele Innovation Center at Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill or at friedmansappliance.com.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. I gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. Picked up for 40 days of consistency. All over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Red and Gold Game Day starts at Laughing Monk Brewing. Park for free. Enjoy amazing food, ice-cold beer, and every game on TV. Catch 95.7 The Game's pregame show. Then hop on the free shuttle straight to the stadium. Sign up now at 957thegame.com. Now back to the kickoff show on 95.7 The Game.
All right, one last segment here live at Laughing Monk Brewing. Week 15, the Niners take on the Tennessee Titans. A chance to move to 10-4, coming off the bye week, the stretch run of the season. 1 month left between now and a hopeful postseason berth for the San Francisco 49ers. Evan Giddings, Lorenzo Neal. A lot of fun here as always. You know, I know that the weather's beginning to turn. It's getting a little colder in places, but in fact, this makes the venue, to me, with the holiday decorations, you got the Christmas tree on your left here. It feels a little more homey, a little more inviting. It's warm. This is the time to get down here and enjoy, your favorite beverage.
Right. This Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me. Yeah, you like that. I had to hit it, man. It's Christmas.
I know.
It's the season,
baby. You got a better voice than people give you credit for. I got to tell you that.
Exactly. But, no, it's very There you go. There you go. Appreciate you back there. There you go. A little Christmas music. But this is the time, man, it's just different. You feel it in the air. You got the crisp breeze. Yeah, the frost is, sometimes there's frost and you look in other stadiums on the ground. Guys are breathing the cold air and you're watching these big mammoth of men moving the pile. I love this part of the year. For me, it was my favorite time of the season because I knew 041 got to be on the field because we're going to line up and we're going to go I-backs and go power and get downhill. This is a time of the year where the physicality of the National Football League rises to the top. You're watching the Chiefs and Chargers. You watching the Chargers now lay on them, run game, pounding the ball. You got to be able to run the ball in November and December. So it's going to be interesting today to see how this Niner team continue to run the ball by committee. Of course, McCaffrey, but you got to also be able to run the ball because you want to save your guys and just beat people up, and they have the ability to do that.
Well, that's the thing. I realize that all year, you got these warm weather offenses and teams are putting up points and there's these prolific numbers and stuff. But you get into December and January type football, and that's where you really see the cream rise to the top. You're seeing those teams that play with a physicality, that control the line of scrimmage, that play smash-mouth football, and that's why, sure, there's going to be some large-scoring games. Right now, New England and Buffalo's in a shootout. You're going to see some of those snow games like last week, Buffalo and Cincinnati. But this, to me, is where the best teams really show what they are. And to me, the Niners, while I don't think they're one of the elite, the top 3 or 4 teams in the NFL, they've earned the right to prove if they are, if they can be. And so that's where, I think in Cleveland, though the Browns are a dumpster fire, you put it appropriately so earlier in the show. That's still a game where if you're not tough,
right.
If you're not a physical football team, you're going to be vulnerable in that kind of game. But you're seeing right now Chicago take it to Cleveland in a game that's negative 15 degrees, the wind chill right now. So that tells me something about Chicago. They're a tough group.
They are.
And I think the Niners are a team that have proven that they deserve to be at the table among those teams labeled tough and gritty.
Yeah, they do. They belong at the table. And let's be real, Evan, they're at the table. You see this Niner team. They're at the table. People are talking about them. You're talking about, hey, look, are they the best team? No. Are they the second best team? Probably not. But you can start talking about them after 3 and 4. You got to mention them. And then anything can happen. We've seen the playoffs. How many times you seen a playoff team? Look at last year, the Commanders get in the playoffs and go all the way to the go all the way to the AFC, the NFC Championship game. So you've seen this team, this Niner team ride the wave. So it's interesting because they're playing in a place that they haven't been in, and now you see this team that's outkicked its coverage, that's overachieved, but are staying focused, that are winning the games they pose a win, that are playing good, solid football. And now with November gone and now in December here, you got 4 games on the stretch, and you control your own destiny. You went out, you're probably going to be 1 or 2 seed. If you went out because of what's the schedule, because we know that the Rams in Seattle have to play again, it depends on who wins that game. You could be the number 1 seed. Who would have thought that this Niner team would be in this position right now in December?
Let's look around the NFL right now. We got a lot of games going on currently in progress. We'll get to the 1 o'clock games. We'll get to the Sunday and the Monday night game as well. But we first start in Chicago. Talked about the cold weather game between the Bears and the Browns. Was 0 degrees, negative 15-degree wind chill. The Chicago Bears are beating up on the Browns heading into the fourth quarter by a score of 28-3. I mean, I think Chicago is a team that they might be a little bit ahead of schedule. That young quarterback that sometimes makes some boneheaded decisions sometimes. Caleb Williams I'm talking about. But that new head coach with Ben Johnson.
Yeah, Ben Johnson.
To me, what he's brought to them is an identity. And their identity is, yes, Caleb can make some off-script plays. He can hit the home run ball. But they run the football. Between DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monagai, that's a team that I think is going to be formidable in the postseason because we know that they're a cold weather squad, but running the football is something that applies to any locale.
Yeah, I want to see, to me, Chicago, their quarterback, Caleb.
Yeah.
I think he gets out of trouble more than any quarterback. I think he's right now showing Houdini-esque time of, getting out of tough situations, stepping out of different situations. I think he's been pretty amazing as far as his ability to escape and what the quarterback and what the coach has brought to that team to give him a calmness to him, because last year he did not look like this. Everyone's saying was this a bad pick? You see the talent, and Ben Johnson's done a hell of a job getting him ready to go.
No doubt. Also, a minor update on the 49ers front. 49ers defensive tackle Jordan Elliott sustained a knee injury pregame. So he's going to be out today. That's another defensive lineman that is down for the Niners against the Titans. Obviously, they're still heavy favorites in this game, but something to pay attention moving forward because he's one of their premier or one of their big run stoppers on that defensive line.
Yeah, that's a big loss. We'll see. And this team, I just don't know how they continue to do it. Time after time after time, guys get hurt. In big positions, in positions that helps determine the outcome of the football games, and this team just finds a way to continue to bounce back and fight back in spite of. So, kudos to this Niners team. But here's another injury, big injury, into the defensive front where where guys are needed.
Absolutely. All right, to the AFC North, and a matchup that is pretty big considering that division is still up for grabs between the Steelers, the Ravens. And the Bengals right now are behind 17-0 with the ball with 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's something that sort of stood out this week. In addition to Rivers making his comeback and all the rest, I think the biggest story, the biggest piece of sound going around was Joe Burrow talking about how it was a little ominous. I think it was on Thursday, his availability where he was talking about not really having fun playing football. And maybe it's because of some of the injuries that he's had throughout his career. Maybe it's a bit of the 4-9 record. Do you think that some of that, I don't know if it's playing with joy. It has leaked into this game a little bit for the Bengals.
Yeah, I think the Bengals are just, you watch Burrow and you listen to him, some of the things he says. The guy's a competitor, and he's a fierce competitor. The Bengals are done. It's a team that they play hard, they fight hard. They go out and they give it their all. It's just when you lost your guy, when you lost Joe Burrow with that foot injury, and just like now they've been just playing from behind. Now they're just playing that they're just trying to get wins. And you're already out of the playoffs. It's tough to go out there and muster up wins. And that Buffalo loss, I think it just took a lot of fight out of them. Them losing to Buffalo, they had that game won. That game should have been won, and they let Buffalo come back and win that football game. And now you got the Ravens. I just think that they're just like they're ready to pack it in. And I've been in situations and been in teams where it's the end of the year and you're playing for nothing and just pride, and you go out there and you're playing against a team that's on, that looks like they're going to the playoffs, and they're playing at a different energy, and you just you're just trying to survive, not get hurt. And that's why I always try to play the game physical, because when you're playing against teams like that, they're playing for something. They're playing at a different level. If you're not buttoned up and ready to play football, you'll get embarrassed.
Also, one quick update from around the NFL. We just saw, though Cleveland is getting trounced by Chicago, Myles Garrett is now 1 sack away from the all-time single-season sacks record. With he's got 21.5 right now, which is pretty incredible considering they got 3 games left. All right, on to New England. The Patriots with the ball, up 31-28 against the Buffalo Bills. A shootout, 31-28 right now with 10 left to go in the fourth quarter. These are two teams that I think could be seeing each other in the postseason. Obviously, division rivals. New England has made the most of their soft schedule this year. They've also beaten Buffalo in Buffalo earlier this season on Sunday Night Football. The Bills, meanwhile, are starting to get things together. Josh Allen's beginning to play like the MVP talent that he is and was a year ago. But this young quarterback, Drake May, is kind of taking the league by storm. And we were having a discussion during the last commercial break as far as the MVP award is going to be distributed. It's probably between him and Matt Stafford at this point.
It really is. And Drake May, he just knows how to get out of harm's way. The guy is very, very elusive. I don't think he gets enough credit for the people how he makes guys miss. I disagree with the call. We just saw Jefferson get ejected from the Chargers in Chiefs game. I thought that was not – he didn't lead with the helmet, caught the shoulder. Unfortunately, hit the guy in the helmet and out. But, I just think that Drake May, he doesn't get the – he has very, very good pocket awareness. He can scramble. He can move. He can hurt you with his legs. He does a lot of unique things, and I think that I don't know if he'll get MVP. I think they're going to give it to Stafford. I don't know if they give it to a second-year player. But Drake May, man, he's got to be in this conversation, and I think he'll be the runner-up for MVP.
And obviously has a bright future ahead, just his second season and already looking like, along with Mike Vrabel as head coach, that they are going to be a force in the AFC playoff picture. All right, kind of a couple of teams that their seasons are already over, but Washington right now killing the Giants. The Commanders up 29-14. That's a Marcus Mariota-led Commanders team against Jackson Dart and the Giants. Two teams that, one of which, like you mentioned, was in the NFC Championship game a year ago. Right. They don't have their quarterback, but a team that has massively regressed. And meanwhile, the Giants are a team that, like most years, nobody really knows what direction they're going in.
Yeah, it's just interesting because they get Dart, they get their quarterback, and you think, hey, watch him, put Russell Wilson on the bench and probably put him out to the pasture for the retirement. And you think that they're going to be a little bit better. But it's interesting just watching the way the Giants, the inconsistency in which they play. Coaches are getting fired. Players are, shutting it down. It's just going to be interesting to see just the way after the season, when on Dark Friday, how many coaches are going to get the X and get fired and get be terminated. Because you look around, I think there are going to be some coaches that's going to get the big X. You look over at Cleveland, you look at Cleveland, what's going on there. I think Stancy's gone. You look, we talking about the Giants, they already fired their head coach. That's probably not going to be the interimship. And I'm even hearing the Raiders after 1 year, maybe Pete Carroll's gone. So there's going to be some chairs, some musical chairs that are definitely going to be open.
Well, speaking of Las Vegas, they're getting absolutely
murdered,
lambasted.
Rickrolled.
Yeah, Eagles are up 31-0 with 2 minutes left in the ball game, so the Raiders are going to fall to 2-12. The Eagles, meanwhile, break that 3-game losing streak and kind of put that Monday night performance to forget behind them. I don't think it necessarily changes for me, Lo, how I look at the Eagles, because you are playing the Raiders, who, by the way, started Kenny Pickett today. It wasn't like they even had Geno Smith in this game. But I do think that this is something that Philly needed just to – I mean, they were talking to Philadelphia about benching Jalen Hurts. They were egging the offensive coordinator's house a couple weeks ago. Like, you just needed a win just to stop all this mess that's going on in the city of brotherly love.
Right. Isn't it crazy? These guys want to egg the guy's house. They want the OC hung. They want to, put him in a. I mean, it's pretty brutal what happens when you lose and when you're in a place like Philadelphia and what they're expecting of you and what people think how good you should be. And if you're losing in Philadelphia, it's tough. It's really tough.
And then this team moving on to another New York matchup. The Jets are getting blown out right now by Jacksonville, 41-13. But I do want to ask you what you make of the Jaguars, because look, they're a team that's beaten San Francisco. They're a team that's beaten Kansas City. They're a team that's got some quality wins on their resume, and they're a team that is 9-4, looking like they're going to get their 10th win of the season. They're right now on a 5-game winning streak. That also includes a dominant victory against the Chargers. They've beaten the Texans earlier in the year. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's the Jags. Maybe because Trevor Lawrence is kind of the the quarterback, I would say like the Jordan Love of the AFC.
Right.
No one really knows what to make of him, but he's got talent. Do you think that that's a team that could potentially make some noise in the AFC?
I think that they're starting to make noise, and not only are they starting to become dangerous, but they're starting to believe. When you watch this Jacksonville Jaguar team, the way that they're playing, and now they're willing themselves to victory. Even when they're playing from behind, they're finding a way to win ball games. I take several weeks ago, they played the Arizona Cardinals, and Arizona had them dead to right. They found a way to come back, scratch, fight, and win that game. When they made that turn, you start to say, okay, here's a team that's starting to feel themselves. You watch the way they're celebrating. You watch the way that even the head coach took off his shirt. He's all fired up in the locker room. You're seeing these guys starting to feed off that. I think when you look at the AFC to me, man, it's pretty wide open. It's a lot of parity. You don't know who's dominant. It's really no dominant team. So it's just it's interesting just to see what end up happening in the AFC when it's all said and done.
And speaking of another AFC team, the Houston Texans, I look at them as
they're hot.
They're dangerous. That's a team that absolutely, because of the defense that DeMeco Ryans, obviously a former 49er coordinator here, is at the helm of. They can go win any sort of game. They are up 33-20 with the ball with 7.5 left against the Arizona Cardinals, a team whose season is over. But the Houston Texans, another squad, to your point, where the AFC, to me, it is up for grabs. And so I think Jacksonville.
Who's your team?
In the AFC?
Because you think about, look at Buffalo. Buffalo's beating the number one team right now. They went back up on the Patriots.
Yep.
The Patriots now are losing. Buffalo's up 35-31. So when you're looking at the AFC, it's pretty obvious that we think the Rams in Seattle, right?
Yes.
And it's the field. Now, what do you see when you see the AFC? I mean,
I see the two best teams being relatively unproven. I mean, Bo Nix and Drake May are good quarterbacks.
I like that.
But they haven't showed that they can go win in the playoffs. And whether they have home field advantage or not, one of them is going to get the 1 seed in all probability. That's a team that I don't think any of these groups below them would mind seeing. Buffalo would not mind seeing New England again. They would not mind seeing Denver. I like Buffalo in the AFC, or
really,
I like Houston. It's because the defense is just so dominant at the line of attack, at the line of scrimmage, that I just think that that's a team that can go into any place and they can beat you up.
I'm with you. Here's the deal. I remember playing in the AFC year we went to the Super Bowl in NFC. Well, AFC with the Titans. I think Baltimore was just getting hot. They went on a streak and they just got out of the playoffs. We knew the next year that was going to be the team to beat. They ended up winning the Super Bowl. I feel that way with Houston. I think if Houston gets in, they're the most complete team in the AFC. They can throw the ball. Quarterback's getting better. Their defense is so stingy, so they'll get after you. They don't make a lot of mistakes. I think if they get in, you got a tough out. So if you asked me, you said, who would you take? If you said who's a team in the AFC and who's your underdog? And my underdog, I'm going to ride with. I too would take the Houston Texans.
I like him because they've done enough at the offensive line to, they got this new young running back, Woody Marks, who can run the ball, catch it out of the backfield. They do enough to move the chains. They got Nico Collins, but the defense is going to keep you in every single game. And I think that though C.J. Stroud has clearly regressed from his rookie season when he was all-world, he's still a pretty damn good quarterback. He's really accurate. I think he takes good care of the ball, and he doesn't make the game-losing mistake, in my opinion. So I'm with you. I think Houston could absolutely upset Denver, New England, one of those teams at the top. And right now, obviously, they're trailing in their own division to the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, and, of course, the last game from the 10 a.m. slate that's going on right now, the Los Angeles Chargers with the ball, 9 minutes left, up 16-13 against the Kansas City Chiefs. A chance to potentially not only end the Chiefs and their season, but break their streak. Patrick Mahomes has not just been to the playoffs. He's gone to an AFC championship game or more every single year he's been in the NFL. If the Chargers hold on to this win, the Chiefs are done.
They're done. Put a fork in them, the Chiefs. They're done. It's just their offense is lethargic. They're lackluster. Our good boy Joey Fortenbaugh, that was his pick. This under 41.5. He was
fading ball right now.
Yeah, he just you look at both these teams and you think about you think the two of the better quarterbacks in the league, and for Joe to pick the under just goes to show you the inability of their offenses to score. Kansas City, I don't think Kansas City has a true number one receiver. Their offensive line has been beat up and hurt. The Chargers the same way. They have receivers, but their offensive line been very, very beat up, very dismal. But you look at Mahomes, you watch their Kansas City, they just look beaten. They look like a defeated team. Their run is over for a while. And, it's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, curious to see what Travis Kelce is going to do at the end of the season.
You know what? I
well.
know they say he's going to retire, but I think he's going to go home, talk to Mama, and say, you know what? Give me one more. Give me one more. I don't know if I want to go out like this.
Yeah.
I think he wants to start his family. I know him and his. He doesn't need the money. His wife can. His wife will take care of him for the next. He's good in good hands, but. I just don't know if Travis Kelce is willing to take this loss or Mahomes like this. I think that you'll see a team that I think they'll come back for one more year.
I do think that, for all they've done as a dynasty, you don't want to see a guy like Travis Kelce go out at least before he makes a final potential postseason. All right, to the 1 o'clock games, we'll start with some of the ones that are a little bit lower in the totem pole, end with some of the big matchups, get the Sunday night, Monday night, and then end with the San Francisco 49ers, who again are kicking off against the Tennessee Titans coming up in just a little bit from Levi's Stadium. Evan Giddings and Lorenzo Neal here on the kickoff show are live at Laughing Monk in Sunnyvale, right off of Oak Mead Parkway. Okay, let's start with the AFC South, a division that somehow is still up for grabs and could be there for the Carolina Panthers at 7-6 because they are going to New Orleans today to take on the Saints.
Yeah, I'm surprised you talked about this spread at 2. This would be my hey, get right week. Go with the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers, I think they're going to I think they may overtake, I'm talking Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers, the Buccaneers struggled the other night against Atlanta. You just saw, just Mayfield, and he had all of his weapons. Their defense couldn't stop him in 3rd and 28, and they freaking able to pick it up. So I do think Carolina, and they still have to pay the Buccaneers, I think they're going to overtake them. So with me, that would be a good game to bet on. I'm taking Carolina Panthers.
I also like the Panthers, too. I think the Saints, look, obviously they're a team that is not very good. They're 3-10. They're looking to play spoiler in this division, and I think that last week kind of was that spoiling game. They beat Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay lost on Thursday night, inexplicably, in my opinion, to the Falcons.
It was 2 spoiler games. Think about it. The Saints
beat the Bucs, and then the Falcons beat them.
The Bucs. So 2 teams played spoiler to a team that they have no business beating. You see what I'm saying? That's why I think Carolina Panthers, momentum-wise, I think they have it.
And they've been Jekyll and Hyde all year, but I'm kind of with you. I think that this is a game that the Panthers are going to get. I'm still not sure they win the division, though, because there's a lot that can go down between them and Tampa. But I think this is a game that they get, and obviously a very important one for the Panthers. All right, to our guy, Phillip Rivers, who's playing at Seattle. The Colts at 8-5, not dead yet in the postseason hunt, just on the outside looking in. Meanwhile, Seattle is the 5 seed by virtue of playing in the same division as the Rams. They're 10-3, 13.5-point favorites against the 44-year-old quarterback who hasn't stepped on a field since 2020.
Come on, Philly turnstile. I'm pulling from my boy Philly good love, man. I'm pulling so much for Rivers. I know you and I talked about watching that game. I'm going to have the game on. I'm going to be watching both games, the Niners, and, of course, watching Phillip Rivers, the 44-year-old guy, get out there and hopefully try to spin it around. He's going to spin it around. Just hope that this guy stays upright. But I tell you, watching Indianapolis go from sugar to you-know-what pretty much overnight is so crazy to me. I mean, they started off like 7 or 5-0. I mean, they were the hottest team in football. And just watching the debacle of this team. So today I give them no chance. I'm just going to tell you, Seattle's playing too good. Their defense, I think their defense is the best defense in the league. I like Seattle. I like them a lot today.
Well, and I agree. It's like
2-0.
He might be. But even before Daniel Jones, and I really feel for him because the guy was playing maybe the best football of his career, was setting himself up to potentially be their new franchise quarterback, get a big contract. He tears his Achilles. But even before that, there were some signs of, a little regression here. You know, is Daniel Jones the guy that you really want to turn to in these kinds of cold weather, big moment games? You're absolutely right. They're kind of falling apart, and you don't want to be a team that's falling apart against a dominant defense like the Seahawks. They might have, to me, between them and the Texans, those are the two defenses in the NFL that I say I don't want to see them on any given Sunday. So to me, this game is quite clearly there for Seattle. I think they win. And then I think that sets up the Thursday night matchup with the Rams to see who's going to potentially fight for the NFC West. All right, speaking of the Rams, they are hosting the Detroit Lions, 5.5-point favorites at home for the 10-3 LA Rams against the 8-5 Lions, not out of the division hunt in the NFC North, but a loss here would really hurt their chances, not just to get the division, but potentially to make the postseason at all.
Yeah, I don't think that 5.5 is enough. I think the Rams should win. I think everyone smart money tell you to go get the Rams. But, man, I'm going to tell you right now, Gibbs, the running back, what he brings to the table, his ability to make people miss, I think this is going to be a closer game than what people think. This is going to be underdog. This is going to be my underdog team. I'm going to freaking go with Detroit Lions. I think they need it a lot. What is Gibbs averaging to carry, and how many yards does he have from scrimmage? What is he receiving? Tell me about Gibbs. I want to talk a little about this guy.
I mean, he's got over 1,000 yards rushing, 475 yards receiving. He's got 16 total touchdowns.
Wow.
And just as in his last 5 games, he's got 9 total TDs for the Lions.
And every time he touches the ball, what is he averaging? About 3-4 yards?
5.5 yards on the ground, 8 yards through the air.
That's pretty amazing. It's remarkable. So for that reason alone, I just think that he knows what time it is. I think when you look at their record, they need this game. So does the Rams. The good thing about this one, you can't say that the Rams, this is a letdown. This game, both these teams need it. And, oh, by the way, I think there's a little love-hate relationship between these two teams because of the fact the quarterback position, the Rams quarterback, he shipped him to Detroit. He's got new life. Rams, take Stafford. He's got new life, wins a Super Bowl. So these are two quarterbacks I think that's looking to make a statement.
I know the Rams had a get-right game last week against Arizona, but I'm with you. I actually think Detroit wins this football game, and it's because they can run the ball.
Yeah.
It's because they can control the line of scrimmage, and their defense does just enough. I think it's going to be a shootout. You see the total at 54.5. There's no doubt about it. There's going to be a lot of points in this football game. But what Jahmyr Gibbs has also allowed Jared Goff to do this year makes that that offense very potent. And Matt Stafford on the other side has been sensational. Outside of one blemish against Carolina, he's got 35 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And we were talking about it earlier. Now that I'm thinking out loud, I think you are right. I mean, he is the MVP favorite right now. But I still think that because it's a slightly bigger game for the Lions, and it's a team that can really punch you in the mouth in terms of points, I like them to go on the road and win this game against the Rams. All right, another big game. Maybe not as far as, NFC or AFC postseason picture, but a really good matchup between the Packers and the Broncos. Denver is at home, but the Packers are favorites by 1.5 points. I think it's appropriate because what Vegas is telling us, though Denver is 6-0 at home, though they have won 9 in a row, they haven't lost in September, this is a team that is an inch away from getting knocked off each week. I think the Packers are the team to do it.
Yeah, this is going to be two teams that could like to hunt on defense, two teams that want to turn their ears back and put some pressure on the quarterback. I want to see this game. I'm looking forward to watching the anticipation. Denver's a team, like you said, they're won 10 straight. They found a way to squeak by wins and get wins and put, and make their and get through close games. And now they're playing against a Green Bay team that's been up and down, that's had some big wins but had some ugly losses. It's going to be interesting to see this matchup. Can't wait to see it. I too would take the Green Bay Packers over the Denver Broncos.
And then Sunday Night Football, Dallas still in the hunt for the NFC East. Going to make it a little bit more difficult considering Philly got back on track today, but they're 6-6-1. The Vikings, meanwhile, they got their quarterback J.J. McCarthy back. He lit it up last week, but they're going to go into Dallas for Sunday Night Football, a matchup that has the Cowboys favored by 5.5 points.
Yeah, on that one, you're going Cowboys. I'm going to go opposite on you this one. I'm going to take Minnesota. I like Minnesota. I just think that the DC, the defensive coordinator, he's going to light Zach up. I think he wants to come after you. He can make you uncomfortable. I don't think the Cowboys' deep offensive line is great. I think they're good. They're not great. And I just think you see Minnesota team that, they can play. They're going to play hard. I like Minnesota. Dallas is just still, to me, the Cowboys.
I'm with you. I think Dallas has enough tonight, but I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. I know Dallas's defense has been better since they traded for Quinnen Williams, but that's a team whose defense overall, you're not going to go from 32nd in the league to top 10. I think there's still more of a bottom 10 type defensive unit, and I think that Minnesota, along with obviously the Cowboys offense, is going to produce a lot of points. All right, Monday Night Football game before we get to the 49ers. Steelers at home, -3 against a Miami Dolphins team that's quietly been winning a lot of football recently. I thought they were going to fire their head coach after the third week.
So did I.
But they were fighting their ass off.
Yeah, we thought he was going to be the first hat that falls. We thought McDaniels was going to be out of there. They're playing in Pittsburgh, right? The game's going to be in Pittsburgh tomorrow night.
Yep.
I just got to go with the Steelers. I think that they understand Baltimore's, chomping at the bit trying to catch them. So I'm going to take the Steelers.
I think the Steelers get this one done too, but they get it done. Pardon me. Miami, though, is a really intriguing team.
They are, man. They've been scrapping and fighting and scoring points. Tua's woken up. Defense is getting after it. They're turning over the ball. They're making some plays, man. It's a scrappy team.
They've won 4 in a row. Devon Achane, it might be the most under-talked about running back in the league. He might be the fastest running back in the league, but there's so many good ones. He's got 1,100 yards and 10-plus total touchdowns. So the Steelers should win this football game, in my opinion, but I think it's going to be very, very close. All right, as for the game today, I don't think this game is going to be close, and it's as much as it is about the Niners as it is about the Titans. And at Levi's Stadium, the Niners, I think appropriately, are 12.5-point favorites. They're coming off the bye week. They have some rest. They have the mini reset, but I don't think this is a team that is going to relax or take a deep breath. They haven't approached any game like that all year, and now they're ready for the stretch run. If you told me that they had a week 14 bye at the beginning of this year, I thought that would be bad news bears.
Right,
but it turns out to be a bit of a blessing for them because now there's a month left. They have a final push, and it begins with a team that is obviously headed towards the lottery.
Yeah, this is intriguing to us. I think when you think about the Niners, what they've been able to do and how in which they've been playing football collectively, playing good on special teams, good on defense, and good on offense, trying not to turn the ball over, create turnovers. They're just playing solid football. You had a bye, getting guys rest. McCaffrey needed it. Now you see he was on the injury report. So that just goes to tell you that his body, he needed that week off. So I think you have a team now that's got some fresh. This bye is going to be big for him. This bye was big for him. They're playing against that's a team that's coming, that traveled from Tennessee, that hasn't been good, got 2 wins. They're playing with Ward, a young quarterback, first pick in the draft. But I just think, like you said, this Niners, they know what's at stake. They know they're not a great team. They know when they play great, when they are a great team, that's when everybody does their job. That's what this team is about, and that's why everyone's looking, saying, what the hell's going on? Because it's about do your job, and if we all do our job, we're good enough to beat anyone, and that's the Niners' mantra, and that's their calling card this year. Everyone do their job, and stay in their assignment, do their technique, and we can beat and we can play with everyone, and that's what they've been doing.
And they have a lot of home games down the stretch here. This is this will be the first of 3 over the final 4 games for them at Levi's Stadium. So a lot more chances to get the Niners back in the win column, but also a few more chances for you to hang out here at Laughing Monk Brewing. It's obviously the best space to watch games on Sundays, every single Sunday, but you also have the Chicago Bears game coming up in a couple of weeks. You got Week 18, which could be a massive matchup with the Seattle Seahawks. So a lot of opportunities ahead for you to hang out live here at Laughing Monk Brewing. The next time we'll be here will be on Sunday Night Football for the Chicago Bears. In 2 weeks, Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson come to town. Come on, hang out. We got a free shuttle if you go to 957thegame.com and hit the Eventbrite link. It'll get you to and from the game. So it's a great setup. It's a great time. Great drinks, great experience. All, of course, right before the Niners play their opponents. It'll be the Bears in 2 weeks. But right now, it's all about the Tennessee Titans. Mark Graney's going to have some post-game reaction for you on overtime, and then he'll lead you into the Golden State Warriors who play the Portland Trailblazers coming up later on tonight, all ahead on 95.7 The Game. So a big thank you, as always, to Laughing Monk Brewing. Big thank you to our guy Steven Risotto back in our Laughing Monk studios. Big thank you to our guy Sam hanging out. More importantly, providing Wi-Fi for us each and every. I don't know how this thing is set up with just his phone, but somehow he has us up and running, and it works out every single Sabbath. For my guy Lone Neal, my name is Evan Giddings saying so long from Laughing Monk Brewing. Niners, Titans, we'll see who wins, and we'll talk to you next time, all ahead on 95.7 The Game.
Bang, bang.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the